Hi guys, welcome back. Here is another UMIDIGI smartphone. This is the UMIDIGI Power. It's a budget device and only costs £120 on Amazon. Links are in the description below. This smartphone looks very similar to the UMIDIGI F1 I reviewed recently. Also the UMIDIGI F1 Play that's out at the moment as well. Very similar in design. Comes with these great UMIDIGI cases as well, I like them. Has a screen protector pre-installed, which is pretty decent. I've left this one on as well. The dewdrop notch at the top. Now the F1, UMIDIGI F1 is 160, this is 120, so there's £40 difference. So it's 64 gigabytes of storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM. There's a 23400 by 1080 in-cell LTPS display, and the display is pretty decent. Great viewing angles. Overall design's pretty nice. It's a really smooth finish. It's a plastic back. Does feel very nice in the hand. Has the fingerprint sensor on there. The dual rear camera flashlight as well. Volume rocker up and down. Power. Is USB Type-C. Also supports fast charging, which is great. 3.5mm socket, speaker, and microphone at the bottom. On the side we have a SIM tray. At the top we have a tiny microphone. Now, so it's powered by the Helio P35 processor. So a little bit slower than the P60 found in the F1. And I did some gaming on this recently, and gaming on Asphalt Extreme Rally on the highest settings seemed to cope just fine. What I do find though with the phone is general performance. Navigating, it does freeze up every now and again, and especially when using the camera mostly. Yeah, but I find sometimes the camera can be a little bit laggy when in the viewfinder we're moving around, and odd occasions, like I said, the phone will freeze up. It has Face ID, which on the whole is pretty good. It's quite accurate. It also shines up the bright white light. If it detects that the lighting conditions aren't suitable, that'll pop up. And most of the time it does unlock it pretty quickly as well. The fingerprint sensor though is very iffy. A lot of the times it will not recognize your fingerprint. You have to keep reapplying it, and then until it says too many attempts with your fingerprint, you've got to unlock it in other means. So the fingerprint sensor needs some work. It's not the best. I've also had this happen when trying to unlock with my face. At the bottom of the phone it says the camera cannot be used because it's in use with another app. And then I went into the phone and the camera had completely frozen out. So the Power is cheaper. The UMIDIGI Power is cheaper than the F1 by around about £40. But there are some bugs in this smartphone which has disappointed me quite a bit, because the F1 was a brilliant smartphone. If you can afford the extra £40, then get the UMIDIGI F1. No question about it. And maybe the F1 Play as well, because I think the F1 Play's got a slightly bigger or better camera. But the Power does manage to open apps fairly quickly. Obviously it can depend on network connection when fully loading applications. And I went through them, opened a few applications. The RAM management seems to be fine as well. When you go back to these apps and relaunch them, they come up quick. I think it's just a buggy smartphone, that's all really. And it's also been labelled UMIDIGI Power, which I don't really understand, because it has the same battery size as the UMIDIGI F1, and you're definitely not getting more power. So I can show you these screen on times. So one of the days, 7 hours and 22 minutes, which is pretty decent. It's 10 o'clock at night, I had 3% left. But again, the UMIDIGI F1 got that, and I think maybe even more if I remember correctly. Another night, 6 hours and 29 minutes. This was at 9 o'clock at night, 5% left. UMIDIGI Power, I mean, in terms of battery power, I think the F1 is better. They could have called it anything really. I don't know why they've called it the UMIDIGI Power. I can show you network connections or speed test. So 4G, little speed test, here we go. Connectivity has been fine. Phone calls have been fine as well. The audio quality is great. Okay, so a score of 8 down and 3 meg up. Sort of an average score that is, but connectivity has been fine. I'll show you some of the bands. So the LTE bands, I suppose, matter most, especially in the UK. It's got band 20, so 4G is fully functional. 26, 28. There's a few more. Has it got any USA bands? No, it doesn't. It doesn't have any USA bands. It's a little bit unfortunate. But those are the bands that we have. So this is a good test to notice smoothness and stuff. So 1080p 60 frames per second on YouTube. That seems to be running, although there's a few little glitches there. Because that is not a buffering problem, because buffering's fine. That seems to be smooth coming through. It's quite a nifty screen on there, it's nice. Couple of little jiggles there. But then you are only paying £120, so you will get what you pay for. Don't like that saying, but it is true. I suppose another good point is running, obviously, the latest Android 9. I don't expect any more updates from there, though. Buttons, well, you've got some pretty cool navigation bar settings as well, and virtual key, so you can have gestures instead. I prefer the keys for now. Yep, face unlock, system, advanced, Android 9. So we have 2 SIM slots in there, SIM 1 and SIM 2, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage. So obviously the Power has cameras, 16 megapixel and a 5 megapixel dual rear camera, and a 16 megapixel high resolution selfie camera. This is a front facing video on the UMIDIGI Power. Obviously we have great daylight in here. Quality looks okay, doesn't it? Not sure on sound quality. I think sound quality is pretty okay. Let's go. A little bit darker here. I mean, it's still in front of a door, so that's still pretty decent. Obviously, the UMIDIGI Power does or will suffer in lower light, so it's getting a little bit softer now and a bit grainier. But that's the front-facing camera on the UMIDIGI Power. If you get some good lighting conditions, great environments like that, then it does take some pretty decent selfie shots. You don't get bokeh mode on the selfie camera. You do get the bokeh effect on the rear camera, and on the whole it does a pretty decent job. Video is up to 1080p with EIS as well, so you can have that enabled. Video output comes out okay. Colours look a little bit washed, a little bit faded, but quality is decent.
Did you get that on video?
No, mate. And obviously, all these budget smartphones, they suffer a lot more in low light than the high-end smartphones do, so bear that in mind as well. So let's take a look at these other pictures and videos, guys, and let me know your thoughts. So this is daytime, EIS is enabled, it's 1080p. Obviously we're going to get slightly better quality when we come into better light. But you can still, it's not brilliant. So darker conditions here, grainy and softy, which I suppose you're going to expect with it's such a budget smartphone, £120. But the outdoor footage is better, obviously. That's my review of the UMIDIGI Power. Yes, it's only £120. There are a few glitches and a couple of bugs in the smartphone that need ironing out, and I think if that gets done, then it'll be a lot better phone than what it is at the moment. But if you can afford that bit extra, get the UMIDIGI F1, most definitely. I mean, the battery's good on it, up to over 7 hours of screen on time, so the battery's pretty decent. You can game on it as well with no problem. The camera could be improved. I mean, other than that, it's just general performance and the camera problem that had issues, really. But for some people, that might be absolutely fine. For others, it won't. But design-wise, I think it looks great. Designed really well, built really well. Feels great in the hand. Fingerprint sensors are not always accurate, but it was then. Did it first time. Oh, and then. Whee. Ah, not there. Fingerprint sensor is hit and miss. The Face ID is quicker. So that's it, guys. That is the UMIDIGI Power. Links are in the description below for this, and I'll also include the UMIDIGI F1 as well. If you're on a budget, then buy the Power. If you can afford a little bit more, get the F1. Thanks for watching, guys. Any questions, please comment below. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.